This is the Cats and Pudding Podcast. A melting pot of pudding. And now, here's Jen.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Cats and Pudding. And today I have a beautiful lady in my studio, Miss Amanda Chinkan, right? I said it right? I butcher everybody's last names. And it's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so glad that you're going to come and you're going to tell us your story because she's got a great story.
I think so.
I think so. I think it's a good story. You suffered with issues with eating and body dysmorphia, and then you started this nutrition company.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a beautiful thing that you took a negative and turned it into a positive.
Thanks.
So tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So my journey, unfortunately, is pretty long.
Okay.
But synopsis. I started getting super stressed out very early in my life.
Okay.
And it kind of cascaded into a lot of different things. It wasn't so, I definitely had image issues with myself, but when I was around 17, 18, I started getting really sick. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I was 23, I was on 6 different medications and just very extremely unhealthy. And
was it a medical issue or?
I think it's honestly, knowing what I know now, I know for a fact that it started with the stress.
Okay, I was going to say stress-induced.
Yes, and then it cascaded into a lot of other very serious things. Mm-hmm. So by the time I was 23, I was on medications, and then I just kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and nobody really had a solution. Every time I tried to see a doctor or a specialist or something, it was just here's another medication, and I finally got really sick of it because all the different meds were giving me side effects, and then I was ending up with more issues, and I just got really tired of it, and I said, this cannot be all that God has planned for me. This can't be it. And it led me down a path of looking for alternative solutions to what I was dealing with. And I'm really happy to say it took 10 years total, but I've gotten everything under control. And I'm medication free. I really don't have many issues, although I do have a stent in my head and that causes some things sometimes. But other than that, I really am very healthy. And if you saw me at 23, you would not think so.
Wow.
So
you had a minute of being, having this. It sounds more like I'm very emotional, very stressed. It probably came derived from something.
Yeah, it did.
Was it your childhood?
It was. My childhood was very tumultuous, to say, right? And there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of drama and trauma. That's usually what causes most things. So what usually happens to people? 100%.
With drugs, alcohol, stressful eating, overeating. These are all things that are a product of, a child trauma.
100%.
Adult trauma.
And when you're a child and you're going through things, you don't know how to regulate, right? So you look for outside sources of regulation. And, for me, it was food, it was alcohol. Thank God I have never actually done a drug. I think I was
thank God.
I think I was,
because that would have been much worse adding to this.
100%. I think I was just too scared of drugs, but I definitely relied on alcohol a lot just to regulate emotions. And I think that triggered, and very early on in my life. So it triggered a lot of different kinds of dysfunction. I had terrible gut issues. I had PCOS, insomnia. Honestly, sometimes I look back at my life and I'm I forgot I had that, because I got over it, I healed it, and now I don't have to live with it, thank God, But it did. Stress is such a massive component in what's going on in your body, and I think a lot of people...
Absolutely, and it affects your gut.
100%. Big time. And I have this thing. I wish I brought it for you to show you today, but I created this chart and I call it the hormone shit show. And it's just an explanation of why you're stressed.
That's the story of my life, a hormone shit show. Jen's hormone shit show. That's totally my life.
But it's true. And especially if you have unchecked stress in your life, you're going to end up on this path. And
Yeah.
I don't think that we realize how widespread the effects are. Like, we know that stress causes heart disease. We know stress causes gut issues.
Yes.
But like internally, all the things that you don't feel, what is it causing in your bodies? And it all starts in that hypothalamus, that frontal cortex of your brain that processes emotion, right?
Yeah.
Your hypothalamus and your pituitary gland are best friends. They talk to each other all day. So if you're super stressed out, the pituitary gland says, hey, we need hormones to deal with this stress. And then your hormones go on this like, crazy cycle. And then you end up with all the side effects of that.
Yeah.
The human body wasn't built to be in that level of stress all the time. Right.
No.
So like myself, my stress started very early. So when I was 8 years old, I was having these very adult hormone cascades happening to my system that my body was not built to handle at that time. And it created a lot of side effects for me.
Do you feel, when that was happening, now what was the coup de grace, the final blow that you knew you had to do something about it? Like, how did that?
I was told that I was going to need surgery for my gut. And then I was like, no, I'm not doing that.
Were you bulimic at the time?
No. I didn't. My issues with food were opposite. I was like emotional eating.
So you were overeating.
I was overeating. I was, at that point, I was 218 pounds.
Okay.
And
were you bulimic too?
No.
Would you purge and then?
I did not. I just kept eating.
Okay.
And I was eating my emotions.
Okay.
And then of course, then I would look in the mirror and I would see 218 pounds and all the skin issues and the acne and the eczema and all the things that I was dealing with. And then that would crash my confidence and I would just sit and eat more. So it's this like really terrible cycle to be stuck in.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. And then I got to my last straw because I was in an abusive relationship from the age of 19 to 23. And then I was told that I would need surgery. And then I was told that I needed to be on medications for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And then that douchebag was doing what he was doing. So I was like, this is not it. This is not my life. Like, it's not. And I got out of that relationship. I spent the next year just trying to lose weight, going to the gym, healing. And in that process, I started looking for other solutions. And that's what led me here, honestly.
And usually something gets triggered by it all. So bad relationship is definitely going to put somebody over an edge when things, that usually is what happens, especially in adult life. That's usually the trigger, is a bad relationship, whether it be with a husband, a child, a sibling. That's something that's always, it's usually a romantic relationship. It's usually caused by. But, that's usually where a trigger where it's going to happen, and you're going to either overeat, you're going to drink, or you're going to do drugs. I mean, that's what usually happens. That's how people try to cope,
And it's really hard. Like, one of the things I deal with my clients now is because when anybody signs up for a program or something with me, we do I do whole body health, right? I'm not like a symptom manager. So, like, if somebody comes to me for gut health, I'm not just looking at their gut. I'm looking at everything that's involved with why your gut is messed up. And one of the things that we have to deal with is kind of retraining the brain to eat for nutritional value, right? If you think about your life, when did anybody ever say to you, hey, you need to eat this because it's going to be good for your health?
No.
When we eat for every other reason under the sun, right? Like, we eat for emotional reasons. We eat for family, tradition, holidays, outings, whatever. That's what we do. So we never look at our food and say, what is this actually providing for me?
Right.
How is this going to support my health, me as an individual? And it's different for every person. So we go through actually quite a long process to get the answers to that. Yeah. So I work with helping people to do that, like looking at their food as a tool for their health, not just something that needs to go into your body. You know?
So tell me about the program. How do you start somebody on it? What is your main, how do you navigate through it?
Sure.
Basically?
So the program is called the Great Reset. And I call it that because it's literally like hitting the reset button on your body.
Okay.
And what I do is a very extensive evaluation of what's going on in your body. So the first thing that we do is we fill out a 212 question survey about how you're feeling.
Right.
What that allows me to do is look at you systemically. What are the parts of your body that are not working? What is struggling, what's contributing to your issues. We use that information to create a nutrient profile that is specific to you. Okay. We then take that and we combine it with detox, behavior change, and then mindset change and emotional eating techniques. So it's a 4-month process. Most women lose anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds in the first 6 weeks.
Wow.
Because,
That's amazing.
It's pretty awesome.
So do you give them the diet? I mean, how do they what is it? What is the steps? Sure. Somebody calls you up, DMs you. How does it happen?
So the first thing we do is that eval, and then we combine it with the actual diet process. So the first 6 weeks is a detox diet. Okay. I don't give people anything to detox. I'm so sorry. I don't give people anything to detox because I really don't believe in flushing.
Right.
If you flush, you're causing yourself more problems.
Yes.
But if you enhance your body's natural ability, your system is going to naturally detox.
Right.
So the first 6 weeks, it's actually super simple. We eat whole food.
Right. Okay.
I have the list of foods that we eat from is like 75 different items.
So it's a good variety of food.
Yes.
Okay.
And we eat fruits in the first 6 weeks, which a lot of diets right now tell you don't eat fruits because of sugar, which is the biggest lie you could buy into. But we eat fruits, we eat vegetables, we eat protein. And we do that for 6 weeks. And people drop weight because their bodies are nutrient fulfilled for the first time in like 20, 30, 40 years.
Wow.
And then you're not putting any garbage in. So your body doesn't have anything to fight, you know?
Because that's where the problem is all these carbs, these processed foods. Well,
and the toxins.
Let's hope RFK changes all this.
Oh, my God.
I hope he does. Maha.
Oh, my God. Maha. It's like watching your dreams unfold.
Yep.
With him getting into this position. Honestly,
I'm waiting. I'm hoping that
we need a change.
We do.
We need a change.
We are the most unhealthy. The kids today.
It's scary.
It is 77% of the boys today could not make it in the military right now. Isn't that insane?
It's frightening.
It is frightening.
Especially when you consider like the political situation that's happening in the world right now. 77% of our boys can't go into the military. That's actually a little insane.
It is crazy.
And the crazy thing is, if you look at what people are eating, it's not a secret, right? Like if you just Google some of the ingredients that's in our food, it comes right up. Yeah. A lot of the things that we put in for preservatives, for colors, for whatever in our food, they used to be industrial solvents.
Right.
Right?
It's crazy.
I read today, actually, Red Number 40, which they're in a huge fight to get out of our food right now, was banned in 1990 from makeup because it's a known carcinogen, but it was left in our food.
How is that? That doesn't make sense.
We can't put it on our skin, but we can eat it?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
That makes no sense. And then that's just one of 4,000 chemicals that are in our food supply. How is the human body supposed to function?
Right. And how is we supposed to stay healthy? How are we supposed to be? There's more allergies now. More kids are sick. The depression, even the fluoride. It's affecting people's way people think. It's making your IQ go down.
And one of the things I think that also needs to be talked about in this conversation is the human body doesn't have a mechanism to detox chemicals.
Yeah.
In all of our history, whether you believe it's 40,000 years or 40 million years, we've never had the exposure to chemicals that we do right now.
Yeah.
There is no mechanism in the human body to get rid of it. So the problem is that we accumulate this and then our kids are born with it.
We're born with it.
And then their kids are born with it. So we're seeing a generation of kids right now who are disabled.
Yes.
And it's, one, extremely scary, but two, we have to ask why. Why are all these kids being born with all these issues? It doesn't make any sense. If we're getting healthier, if we're supposedly, stronger and more immune system smart than we used to be, why are all these kids sick?
Right.
And it's the toxic accumulation.
And also all the vaccinations that these kids have to get, which is terrible.
The vaccine schedule is unreal.
75.
Before the age of 5.
What do they need this for?
I was watching, do you know who Callie Means is?
Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing. Or her and her brother. But I was watching them, and they were talking about the erythromycin cream that goes on the child's eyes when they're born. It's to prevent chlamydia.
Like, why do they need that?
If the mom doesn't have it, where are they getting it from?
Right. So why do they have to put that on their eyes?
And she made a point in one of the things that she was saying that was like, literally from the minute that you're born into this world, you are put under pharmaceutical intervention.
For no reason.
Within 1 minute of birth.
I was a labor and delivery nurse. We put the erythromycin around the eyes, and she's right. Immediately, you put it on. It's an antibiotic.
It's an antibiotic. So you're destroying the child's bacterial barrier before they even have a chance to establish
because
one.
maybe one out of because they're worried about that somebody might go blind. And first of all, when you're pregnant, you get tested over and over again, and you do get tested for STDs. So you're gonna know unless the person had sex with somebody with chlamydia, and give it to the baby, then they could go blind. Yes, it is a possibility that they could go blind, but there's a 1 in a billion chance, and now you're going to do this to every child that's born?
100%.
It makes no sense to save one person from going blind. Okay, I'm not saying nobody should go blind. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. However, you're instilling in billions and millions of kids this now antibiotic that you don't really need, and you're just doing it prophylactically. For what reason?
For what reason?
There's no reason.
There's a lot of prophylactic things that we do that make no sense. Makes no sense. Prophylactically, maybe you shouldn't eat garbage.
Right.
Maybe you shouldn't eat toxins. Maybe that'll help your health.
Right. Maybe you should stop smoking vapes. How about that? The vapes are worse than any cigarette, I feel like, too. I feel like I'd rather see somebody smoke a cigarette than do a vape.
This is a very unpopular opinion, right? And I get in a lot of trouble for saying this.
It's okay. You could say it.
Thank you. But, 100 years ago, everybody smoked cigarettes.
Everybody smoked.
Everybody smoked cigarettes. In Thailand, I think it's Thailand, don't quote me on that, but literally cigarettes were a part of the economy. Mm-hmm. So everybody smoked. And they actually have a cancer rate of half of ours.
And why? Because of what we're eating.
Because of what we're eating. Right. It's actually really insane. It's the chemical exposure that we're under, like the body has no ability to deal with it. None. So when you go on my program and I just ask you to eat whole foods, I think a lot of people are shocked
at what it does.
Yes.
It's amazing.
It's actually a little crazy. And people, so actually right now I have somebody on the program who, combined with medical negligence, right, has been very sick for a long time, and couldn't really find an answer to anything. She just left me a review. She's on day 23 of the program.
Wow.
23.
Wow. All
of the issues that she came in with are gone.
Wow.
She's lost like 17 pounds already.
And she feels great.
She feels fantastic.
What do you think of Ozempic? And go ahead, you could say. I did it. I'm not going to lie. I was on it. I lost 46 pounds. I do feel better. I'm not going to say that I don't. My blood pressure went down. My cholesterol went down. I stopped. I wasn't one of the ones that kept on going on it because I just wanted to get skinnier and skinnier.
Yeah. I
did stop. So I do maintenance maybe once every 2 months if I even do it. Sometimes I don't do it. So give me your, I know it's probably going to be unpopular, but.
Well, I think I have a love-hate relationship with Ozempic because I'm a huge fan and promoter of peptides. Mm-hmm. Okay. Peptides are phenomenal. They're like a cheat code that you can use in your body and a programming code that you can use. I've actually used peptides. I've used BPC 157. I've used TB 500 for muscle gains. And then during COVID, we were using Alpha 1. So peptides are extremely powerful. You have to use them the right way, and you have to use them in the right dose. And you can't be on them forever. And this is the thing. Even with BPC 157, you're supposed to cycle on and off of it.
Yeah.
And people are being left on Ozempic for months, for years, decades, with this peptide programming going into their body. And here's the thing. Peptides in nature are very fragile.
Yes.
Super, extremely fragile. If you press that syringe just a little too fast, it's destroyed, right? And so what the makers of Ozempic did is they added a bond to the peptide chain to stabilize it, and that's why we can shoot it really quickly, right? The thing is, if you add an extra part,
there's always a problem.
There's always a problem. The fact is, we don't know what that problem is going to be. We're seeing a lot. I'm super happy that you lost the weight and you feel really good. You're one of the people who I think may not have abused it, right?
No, I wouldn't abuse it. I didn't. I used it till and
then you stopped.
And then I stopped.
Yeah. But there are people out there who are taking higher and higher doses and ending up with pancreatitis, gallbladders removed, guts paralyzed.
Yep.
Diverticulitis, flares. I've seen a lot in the last year.
My daughter had a gallbladder attack. She's 24 years old. I said it's from the Ozempic. There's no 100%. Other. There's no other explanation.
Yeah,
and the doctors won't tell you that because they don't want to have an issue with the drug company. But 100%. I'm telling you, they will say it, but they kind of won't because they don't want to have a problem with the drug company. Mm-hmm. That's it.
We have a friend that's a nurse, and a couple months ago, my husband owns a brewery. He's a microbrewer, and she came to the brewery and was like, she just sat there with her head in her hands, and I was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, we just had like the third case of pancreatitis for the day, and I'm just like so over it. Yeah. And I was like, what do you mean the third case for the day? And she's like, oh, people are coming in left, right, and center with pancreatitis because they're taking too much Ozempic. Yeah. And I'm like, nope, that's frightening. So the thing that scares me about that is like, why are you going after the weight loss so hard that you're willing to destroy
your body or destroy your organs?
Your organs, your body, your function, everything. Yeah. Not when the answer is a lot simpler.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not against peptides. I just think they have to be used correctly.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. And I think when I did it, I was on it, then I went off, then I went on it again. And then I weaned myself off so that I would, and now I'm good. Now I'm fine. I don't think I need it. I think, like I said, I do it. I maintenance maybe once every 2 months I'll do it. Like if I start seeing myself like, all right, I'm overeating again, like or whatever, I get nervous. But now I have to say I eat pretty good. I eat just smaller meals. I eat what I want, but I eat just smaller meals now. I don't eat as much as I used to. But I will say that you do lose the taste for water. And it's very important to drink a lot of water. Like I used to love drinking water. I have to force myself to drink water now from being on that.
See, even that right there is a little scary to me. That's a little scary. Yeah.
It is scary. So you have to make sure you hydrate yourself. So
yeah. And then at the end of the day, there's a lot of people out there that just don't do well with it. You're a unicorn in this world. Unicorn. No, honestly, because most of the people, I'm also meeting like a very specific group of people, but most of the people that I meet.
Well, you're meeting the people that had terrible experiences.
Right.
There are people that have had good experiences. So,
Correct.
For me, that was my experience, but my daughter didn't have that experience. So, I think that we don't know enough about Ozempic right now to make a judgment, because to say what's going to happen now in 3 or 4 years when you stop taking it as what's going to happen. So right now we have the weight loss, but what's going to happen to me now in 3 years? Am I going to start unless I continue to eat right?
Exactly.
But if I start eating Fruity Pebbles in the middle of the night again, a whole box, which I used to do, then it's a problem.
There's Red 40 in there.
Oh, I know, but I love that Red 40. I love that Red 40. I can't help it. I do. I eat that shit all the time. I love it. Oh, well, listen, this was a great, great conversation, and I would love for you to come back again, because I do like to talk about, this is important. This is important for our society. This is a great topic. So I'd love to have you come back again.
I'd love to be back.
More. And maybe we could just discuss more of just about the societal issues in eating, and how especially these kids now too have these eating disorders, that they're afraid to do anything because they're afraid to eat, basically, and they just starve themselves.
Yeah, because what they see.
And we're supposed to be not body shaming anybody, but clearly people don't listen to that. It's all bull crap.
Yeah, it's all crap.
It's still, people
and the
still
thing
body
is,
shame.
what they see as food, they know intrinsically is not good for them, because what they're looking at as food is cereal, protein bars, cake, cookies, whatever comes out of a package. That's what's food to them.
Yes.
So they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
But let's go back. Let's start eating the way that humans were meant to eat. And then
fruits and vegetables and protein. That's it.
Literally.
No carbs. Carbs were not supposed to be part of our diet. Hence why we're having so many problems too.
Processed carbs.
Processed carbs.
Processed carbs.
Right, processed carbs.
Yeah, one of the things that I teach my clients is that you need carbs. The human body has to burn glucose.
Yes, you do need carbs.
But the type of carb that you eat is what matters, right? So I'm a huge fan of roots. If anybody takes anything from this conversation, go eat a root.
Eat a root.
Eat a root.
Eat roots.
It's literally eat a root. It has all the nutrients, the fiber,
eat a root.
everything
That should be
need.
the logo. Let's eat a root. Should be a bumper sticker. Eat a root.
Eat a root. That's what I want to tell everybody.
Okay, everybody eat a root. Please tell everybody where they can find you and if they want to reach out to you about the program.
Absolutely. So my name is Amanda Chinkan. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on my website, Facebook. Everything is Amanda Chinkan Nutrition. My last name is Chinkan. So Amanda Chinkan Nutrition. If you type that into Google, you will find me.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook, website, whatever. I literally put my phone number on Google because it's my life mission to help people get over this and get control of their food and their diet and their bodies. There's so many symptoms out there that can be corrected with just food and nutrients. And if we just put a little effort in, we can do it, you know? And so please come find me.
And eat a root, everybody.
Eat a root.
And if you're interested in old school espresso, cappuccino, lattes, everything directly imported from Italy, Dolce Bean Cafe, right in the heart of Ridgewood, Queens, is the place for you guys to go. They have gelato, they have pastries, they have paninis. Delicious. Dolce Bean Cafe. We don't have bad carbs there, by the way. And eat a root. Everybody have a great day.